All right, we're back. Myself, Coach Schuman, Coach Depascale, back as usual. We have a great guest on today, head football coach, Wesleyan University, who's really built them into a powerhouse program. Coach Dicenzo, we're excited to have him on and really talk, football with him. High academic school, was an alumni from Williams. I'm sure they play each other. So Wesleyan probably plays Williams. But he was a football player, wrestler there, was a safety there. Went on to coach, I believe, with Coach Priori at Trinity. Then on to Brown, back to his alma mater, where he's DB coach and recruiting coordinator. And then came over to Wesleyan as a DC and assistant head coach, and then took over the program in 2015 and really has taken Wesleyan to a different level from a standpoint of not just wins and losses, but really a powerful program throughout the country. So without further ado, it's great to have you on, Coach.
Appreciate it, guys. I appreciate you having me on. Always good to have an Italian guy up here in Connecticut on New Jersey podcast,
That's it right there. And you coach, so I didn't mention, actually, you coach wrestling as well, right?
Yeah. So I did both football and wrestling in college. And then when I went back to Williams, I was head wrestling coach there and coached on the defense with the football program. And I loved it. It's a great sport. I did both in college, like I said, and I loved every football practice. I didn't love every wrestling practice. So
that's for sure.
It's definitely the toughest thing you'll ever do in your life. I think it teaches great character, integrity, hard work, and, the things that you thought were tough in your life when you've wrestled, it makes things a lot easier. So just a great sport. I was very fortunate. Some really good wrestlers there for me there. In both football and wrestling, I've always recruited New Jersey heavy just because it's just really good sports. And I love that the New Jersey State Wrestling Tournament's at Atlantic City every year. And they make it so the first night you can't get eliminated. So you got to stay in hotels a couple extra nights. The parents going to stay. Everyone stays. Yep. But just an awesome atmosphere. They do the Jersey States and AC. And I still go. I go pretty much every other year and recruit football kids. So we'll actually look through. I shouldn't say this, but we look through the Jersey State brackets and look through any kids that do football on Twitter, and then we follow them and then we message them that way. And I don't care if they wrestle or not. They're just usually a tougher football kid. So definitely like to get those guys with that wrestling background.
They really make it like a big event, and it's and every year it's kind of like a staple. Like they literally hold Glacier usually holds a clinic the weekend before, right? Yeah. And then so when they clear that out of the way, everybody kind of gets a little warm up in there for that first weekend. Then they're back the next weekend for the wrestling tournament. And the way that I think New Jersey does it, right, creates a bit of something a little different where, private guys and public guys are all in brackets, small school guys, big school guys. It really creates a lot. So it gives a lot of guys can find some diamonds in the rough there in terms of, hey, maybe you're not going to be a wrestler, but you're definitely probably play football or be a football guy. Yeah, it's really a good situation that they have down there.
Yeah. When I was at Williams, I coached this kid, Tommy Prairie from Delran High School, and he's now the head wrestling coach at Cortland. Yeah. He's going to keep going to the Nationals this week at 149. He's got a shot to win it. And Tommy was 5th in the state of New Jersey. The winner was Joe Dubuque, who was a 2-time Jersey State champ, ended up being a 2-time national champ in Indiana. Yep. If you look at the top 8 placers, Tommy was a 3-time All-American for me. And every kid on the podium was a great wrestler in college. So just a great state of wrestling right there.
Yeah.
No, there's no doubt about it. New Jersey, they have a great tournament, great wrestling system there. It's phenomenal. Talk about how you got started in coaching football and coaching and you talk about a little bit your playing. I think you played safety, right?
Yeah. So I'm from New Hampshire, just a powerhouse football state. So
top 5, coach.
When you're an 18-year-old kid, I'm a 9.5, 5'10" quarterback in New Hampshire. I had just won at everything I had done, and I was a good player, and ended up being a 3-time All-State quarterback there. So I'm like, listen, next step is Division I. I'm going to the NFL. Like, right ticket. Like, let's go. And, now I watch recruiting film and I get a film from up there and I'm like, oof, that's not it. So, very fortunate. I had great mentors. So my baseball coach in high school, winningest coach in New England, passed away a couple of years, Tom Underwood, just a great man. My football coach, winningest coach in New England, So both those guys there for a long time. Just a lot of good character, discipline, hard work, instilling in their players there. That my wrestling coach is outstanding too. So great mentors in high school. Fortunate to have great parents that were great mentors to me. Played at Williams. Didn't really know what I was getting into academically. An elite academic school. I wanted to go to a great school where I could do football and wrestling. My football coach, Dick Farley's in the College Hall of Fame. I think he was like 125 and 15 in his career. So he did a lot of winning. He never swore in practice, so a little different background than myself. Just how I live my life. He did swear. Everyone took notice, So
right.
I'm playing DB, and it's great. I don't know if I swear on this, or am I not allowed?
Yeah, you're good, Coach. You're good.
Wesley will be proud of me swearing on a podcast. So anyhow, I'm playing, and I'm a DB for Coach, and he was a DB coach, head coach. He played in the NFL for the Chargers a couple of years. So we're running this, team drill against the offense, ones versus ones. We run a post ball, and this kid, D'Entremont, the corner's just chasing it, from the backside. The safety was supposed to be over the top. The safety's jumping like an 8-yard dig route. And Farley looked at the safety, calling Kane. He goes, Kane, everyone thinks D'Entremont's the asshole, but I know different. And, we're back at the locker room afterwards, and Kane's like, I played 3 years. I haven't heard this guy swear in 3 years. He swore at me today. He goes, pretty good chance I'm never playing, Just, but great man, great mentor. When I go up to play Williams now, I still try to check in with him. He usually comes to all the games when we're playing. And we got a lot of Williams guys out there coaching now, NFL, college, all around. So good network there. And then I got lucky, man. I GA'd at Trinity for 2 years, a team in our league, but Chuck Peoria was head coach there. It was awesome. When you leave college, you think you have all the answers and you know what it takes. And he had me on a schedule from 7 in the morning till 10 at night. And, I'm 22 years old, not married, don't have a wife and kids to go home to. I was in the office all day, worked out great for me, was better than I was on a good schedule, and definitely took a lot of things from him that when I was become a head coach, things I wanted to do and things I did not want to do. But again, he was outstanding, and his organization and his leadership were really, really good. And his commitment to winning was second to none. So then I went and worked for Phil Estes at Brown. I think he won 3 Ivy League championships at Brown in his time there, and he was outstanding. Just a great leader, highly competitive guy. And again, we were second in the Ivy the year I was there. I was there for 2 springs and a fall, and just an awesome experience learning from him and another guy. Then I went back to Williams. Mike Whalen, who's the AD at Wesleyan with me now, he was my head wrestling coach in college and our offensive coordinator. He became the head coach at Williams. I went back there for 6 years. Got the opportunity to be a head coach with running the wrestling program for a couple of years. And then we made the move in 2010 to come to Wesleyan. So it sounds like a lot of jumping around from graduating to going to Trinity, going to Brown, going to back to Williams, and now Wesleyan. I've been here 15 years. So this is definitely home. My wife's a psychologist. So you guys think you got it tough. I'm getting judged every second of my life by a professional. And we've got 3 boys, 4, 6, and 8. I want them growing up around my guys here. We got a great situation. I would never want to work at a great academic school that wasn't committed to winning, and we're definitely committed to winning here. I have an outstanding staff, and don't tell anyone, but our secret to winning here is we're getting really great players. So, that's the key. And again, I just think I want guys around me that I can trust and that are great recruiters and great player developers. So those are 2 things I'm looking for in my coaches. But again, surround yourself with guys you can trust. I think it's a big deal. You spend a lot of time with these guys and knowing that they have your back and they want to win. And, when you're facing adversity, that they have your back. And I think it's always easy to, when things are going well, to everyone be together and kumbaya. As soon as things go bad, everyone's pointing fingers. So really talk about with our team and face adversity the right way, and with our coaching staff, really proud of the group of men we have here. Just outstanding role models for our guys.
Yeah, I think that's I like that you pointed it out. Players still make the difference.
It's kind of been like a trend, right? We've kind of been on that the last couple, it's really kind of been a forefront of what we've been it just seems to always come back to that we're kind of just hammering that down. No matter what we all are talking about, what it is, it's players. Players make the difference.
And we've had 6 players in the last 3 years grad transfer up. So we have a small grad program. We've had some kids stay in grad play for us, but we've supported them. And again, the transfer portal, you hear all these horror stories for us. They've graduated from Wesleyan. They're part of this Wesleyan football family for life. And we've had some kids that are some pretty special players, and we want the best for them. So we've acted as their agent. So we had a kid, Logan Tomlinson, who graduated here in 3.5 years, was a captain for us, just an outstanding person, one of the best people I've ever met in my 45 years on this planet. And he went to the University of New Hampshire, played for Ricky Santos. First year caught 40-plus balls, 8 touchdowns, was third-team All-CAA. This past year caught 80-plus balls, second-team All-CAA, first-team All-New England. He's now down training in PA for the NFL draft. And he'll probably be an undrafted free agent or a 6th or 7th round guy.
Yep.
I think he's going to make a team. He's just got that type of character and work ethic. Again, he's 6'2", he's 212, 215. He can jump through the roof. His film, you put his film on it, he can play. But he has all the intangibles too, and just will work his butt off to do whatever they ask. And, he asked Coach Santos to be on special teams the last few years because he knew in the NFL that'd be something he'd be doing. But again, Logan was a first-team all-league receiver for us for 2 years. The reason we got him is he was a quarterback out of high school, and we gave him a chance to play quarterback knowing that he could probably play receiver since we watched him play basketball and he was dunking through the roof. So, but just had a great career for us. And he had the COVID year, then was injured as a freshman at 2 years for UNH. And then we have another kid this year, Chase Wilson, who was the offensive player of our conference. Chase is from Louisiana. Again, really good recruit for us. We knew he was good coming in. He has a year of eligibility left. He's going to UNH for 1 year. And I expect him to, have 50-plus catches and 10 touchdowns. He can really run, and he's a really talented kid. So I hope he stars out again like Logan did. So then Ricky can put me on the payroll a little bit since we but again, pumped to have those guys played a great program like UNH for a great man like Ricky Santos, knowing that they're competing for NCAA playoffs every year. And it's been a really good fit. So I'm happy to help those guys because they've done a great job here for us, not trying to hold them back.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I think that's a really interesting thing coming from Wesleyan because you're going there. Obviously, you're going there to play football, but you're also really going there primarily because it's a fantastic academic institution, and that's a large part of it, right? So I think it shows that success as an athlete and a student, like you got to go where you're wanted and you fit right away, and you have the opportunity, and then things will shake out as they will, and that's the really good thing. So you've had players that graduated and decided to they're good enough they can go to a higher level, and you're welcoming that. And I think most athletes, are going to probably plan to graduate from Wesleyan because it's going to be to their benefit to do so.
Yeah.
For life, right? No matter, even if they get a free agent contract, how many years are they going to even make it, right? So I think that's a really, really important thing. It's really cool. I remember you guys had, I think David Estevez played from Riverdale, played for you, right? He was a quarterback for you.
I mean, Estevez was a stud. So his junior year, we're playing Williams at home in our homecoming game, and they were better than us. They had a really good team, really good quarterback on defense, the whole deal. He threw a 55-yard touchdown for us as a quarterback. They then scored at the end of the half with like 30 seconds left. They kick it deep to him. He returns at 98 yards for a touchdown. So he was our quarterback. We had him as a kick returner too. 55-yard touchdown pass, 98-yard kickoff return. In the fourth quarter, we tie it with like under 10 seconds left. He runs in a 2-yard run as the quarterback. And then in overtime, we stop him on 4 plays. They don't kick a 42-yard field goal. We get the ball back first play. He's at tailback, and he runs a 25-yard touchdown at tailback. So scored 4 different ways, and that's kind of his career for us here. And when we recruit him, we're like, hey, man, we're going to play you all over. And I'm going to still have you be a returner, receiver. I think his freshman year, he helped us most in the return game as a receiver and then some Wildcat stuff because we had a pretty good quarterback ahead of him. And he caught 30, 40 balls as a freshman, so he's willing to do whatever we asked and just a great player. But, I mean, you watch him at Riverdale, all these D1s passed on him. I went down and froze my butt off in Gillette Giant Stadium to watch him a couple of years. And, I mean, just making plays all over the field. So, great kid. And as you mentioned, he graduated here. He's working for a small financial company. He's killing it right out through one of our alumni connections. And again, that's why the guys are coming here, to get a great degree and go on and do great things when they're done. That's awesome. We've got some guys doing amazing things and doing awesome things out there. But obviously, we're kind of pushing that, the D1 rule of if you're only playing 4 games, you get that D1 year of eligibility back helps us. So freshman.
Yeah, absolutely.
He only plays for us in 4, the last 4 games of the season or whatever it is. He can then graduate here in 4 years have his D1 year left. And now these D1 schools are taking kind of a finished product.
Absolutely.
That's been lifting here for 3 to 4 years, has played college football, been in pressure situations. And now, they're going 1 year, 1AA. So if you're playing less than 4 games D3, you get the D1 year back, So again, a lot of opportunities for these guys. And again, I think the NCAA's made some good rules in the players' favor with that. But we've only had positive transfer portal situations because the kids want to stay and get the degree. As you mentioned, that's going to pay back for the next 40 years of your life. But now you get that back end of the graduate school situation. And we've had 6 guys do it. So, we're definitely saying, hey, we want you to get a great experience here, be a great football player, get a great degree, end up being that good. We're going to support you and help you, not hold you back. So that's definitely worked to our benefit.
Absolutely. No, I coached against David Estevez. We lost to them in overtime, and I was at Old Japan. I was the special teams coordinator there that year. And
did you kick to him?
Yeah. Did we kick to him? I don't remember. He did. He scored. They won on. They got the ball first in overtime, and David ran it in. I think he threw a pass, and then he ran it in, and we got the ball. We ran a wheel. We had a kid that went to Lafayette, fullback linebacker. Well, he was linebacker at Lafayette, but we threw it to him on a wheel. He catches the ball great, and it just hit him in the hands. And he looked. He was just there was no one there.
Yeah.
And he kind of picked his head up, and the ball dropped. And then we were in. I think that was 3rd down. So now we're in a 4th down situation, and they stopped us. But yeah, it was a great game. I mean, David Estevez was unbelievable. I think he might have been a junior that year.
Yeah,
I think they won really next year. Yeah. So it's a pretty great athlete that he was. I remember DJ used to always tell me he couldn't believe he would be so frustrated, but I said, you know what? He's going to Wesleyan. It's a great academic school. In the end, they were super happy and he had a great experience. And
I expect him to go on to these hedge funds and make millions of dollars so he can buy me a dome here in 10 years. So
I know he's smart guy too. I heard really smart guy.
And again, in the recruiting process, you can't take offense to it. I want kids that want to play Division I football. I want kids that want to play 1AA football. And a kid like Estevez, he wanted the academics, but he was a football first kid. Yeah. And hey, you're choosing your dates for the prom, and all of a sudden I'm sitting here, and all of a sudden we're offering pretty good things in December to these 1AA kids, and they come here. And again, if he was playing here now after 3 years here, someone would have picked him up for that 1 year kind of grad transfer rule. So
right.
Kids like that now, they're all right, coach, you've done that with 6, 7 kids. I'm going to come here and, then get that back end chance. So again, great player for us, great kid. We've had so many Jersey kids. We had a kid, Donnie Semino from Westwood. He played baseball and football here. He's 3-time all-conference DB for us and a 4-time all-conference baseball kid. He got drafted by the Cubs in the 30th round, was an econ major here, a 3.7 student. He was playing single A ball in Michigan 2 years out. He's like, all right, coach, I did it. I need a job yesterday. I need to make money. And now he's been down in New York working since he graduated. And, his group of kids, they were 14 or 16 and 2 their last 2 years for us. When Semino was here, just the great teams we had in 13 and 14. And, all those guys are killing it right now financially. So that Wesleyan degree, it's a blue chip education. That's why they're coming here and getting it for the next 40 years. So, but a lot of Jersey guys, and we're finding the smart Jersey guys too, like yourselves.
I think that's the other cool thing is that you can play a really great athlete that comes there. You actually have the opportunity to play 2 sports if you want to.
Yeah.
If you're an exceptional athlete, I was thinking about I went the scholarship route, but there's a bunch of D3s that was and Ivy Leagues, that was how they recruited me. They were like, hey, you could play both sports here, and I chose the scholarship route, but part of me is hey, it would have been great to play both sports because that would have been a heck of a lot of fun. You know what I mean? So but it's one of those things the kids that come to you have great foresight. I think probably some great parenting too, in that they help guide them in that those situations where's the long-term opportunities for you in life, you know what I mean? And what's your approach to the sports and what is it you really want to get accomplished? So I love that you really like very, very open to the athlete being able to really choose a path that helps them be really successful. And because it's interesting because we've talked to a lot of coaches and everybody has like a different take on the transfer portal. I think your take is really refreshing. Like, hey man, come here. You know, you're going to get a great degree. You're going to have the opportunity. Hey, if you're a really smart guy and you can finish, 6 months earlier, you're going to have the opportunity. If you're really good, to play a couple of years somewhere else if you were good enough, and that's all on the table for you. I think that's really, really refreshing. I'm curious. Do you guys take transfers into Wesleyan?
We do take transfers in.
Probably a little tougher though, right? Probably a little tougher road.
Yeah. I just have a rule where I like to have recruited them out of high school.
Right.
So we know the family and we know the background a little bit. We have really good team culture right now. Like that. I'd like to sit here and tell you like we're winning because I'm a genius. We're winning because we got great kids. And right now, when you've got great team culture, it becomes contagious from class to class. So like they're policing themselves. They're running and lifting because they want to do that. They're doing it because they want to, show their coaches, their teammates that they're going to be a dude for us. So, that's just an awesome environment to be in. And that took a while to create, but now we've got it going. Right. And our leadership from our upperclassmen is outstanding. So that's been really, really positive, in that regard. And then, kind of on the transfer portal thing, we do have a lot of kids that try to finish in 3.5. Both Chase and Logan were able to go for a spring ball at UNH, and I think that makes a huge difference.
Huge.
Like, the jump, getting the weight room with those guys in the winter than there for the spring, the playbook better. You're more comfortable on campus. The coaches better. They know you better. Now at spring ball, you can show what you can do. And as long as you're going that trajectory, they can kind of project, hey, this guy in the fall is going to just keep getting better and better. Now that he's used to the speed and everything like that. So again, really rooting for those guys. And again, the more they have success, the more we're going to get some high-end kids out of high school that want to come here and have that at the end. And again, we do take transfers coming in, trying to recruit them out of high school. And with the transfer portal, we're only really losing it on the grad transfer, not kids transferring out, because they want the degree and they're having a good experience here. And again, football should be fun. You should be excited to come to practice every day. And again, I tell our guys all the time, we get to do this, guys. You don't have to do this. Right. We get to do this. And I'm hoping they have a great experience on campus, a great academic experience, but I hope the football piece is the best part of their day. And again, being around the guys, being out there competing, being out there flying around, like there's no better feeling. Now, I'm 45 and out of shape, so I don't miss it like it was yesterday. But those are the best days of your life, competing in high school, competing in college. And I've been very blessed. I've had great mentors. I got a great family. My life is great. I play 100 rounds of golf. Like life is good for Coach Dicenzo. But at the same time, those best days of the year are playing ball with your buddies. You never get that time back, So definitely want to tell our guys, hey, play while you're here. You get an opportunity to play another year. Like our quarterback right now has got a couple financial jobs, but he's looking to play overseas in Europe. And I'm like, buddy, go play. You can work for the rest of your life.
Absolutely.
Yep.
It's awesome to hear that perspective, right? Because like Coach said, we talked to a couple of guys, and for us, when it shakes out, the coaches that are going to embrace this new transfer portal process and NIL and whatever that is, the ones that are going to embrace it and figure out how to make it work for them and run with it, ultimately, in our eyes, are the ones that are going to be, and I don't want to speak for Dave but I think he's on the same page, are the ones that are going to, they're going to get more out of it. And it's going to be a more of a positive rather than go against it. And, it should be like this. And it used to be this way. You kind of got to embrace that change and run with it. You're dealing with a different type of kid. You're dealing with, just entirely different type situations. And no, there's no textbook because it's never been done before. But I think the model of, we've seen guys, hey, you're under recruited out of high school, right? You think you're better than what is on paper for you because of, how the transfer portal is, not taking as many high school guys, whatever. So you come here, get this academic degree, play football at a high level. And then if you have that next opportunity, I'll be here to support you. And we've talked about a couple of guys like that have done it that way. And it just seems that there's a higher rate of success when doing it that way.
Yeah.
And I think the guys that are going to embrace that, like now they're going to run with it because, hey, I'm still getting a high-level athlete or a high-level player, right? He's going to be plugged in. I'm not going to have to worry about him off the field because he has a greater goal in, and he's coming in with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, pissed off. He's going to play harder. He's going to work harder. He's going to, to get what it is. And then at the end of the day, out on the other side as a coach, I'm getting all of that. Right. I'm getting that, what I want in my team culture. And then knowing that he knows that I support him in that goal. Like it's just a great mixture of like everything coming together where everybody's kind of getting what they want.
Yep. We have another corner, this kid, Wesley Abraham. He played at Iona Prep in high school, that Catholic league in New York, was really good league, stepping out.
Good league, real good league.
And he finished in the winter. So he grad transfer this spring. He's down at Furman, and I looked at their schedule today. They open at Clemson. So
yeah,
if he's starting at corner for him, he's going from being a two-time All-American at Wesleyan to playing Clemson in the opener next year. So again, good for him. Go compete. Loves to compete. We're excited to follow him.
What are some of the things that you've really, from the time you've taken over to now, that have really improved in your program, that you've been really able to kind of up the ante in, and I think where you're located, obviously, I think it ends up being it's a really nice area. Yeah, a really nice area, great campus. But it's talk about some of the things that you guys really have done to improve it. Obviously, last year you had a great season. You guys were, I think, 8-1, right? I think it was.
Yep, we won the league and we're 8-1.
Yep. And so, to talk about those kind of improvements that you've made since you've come in.
Yeah. So, I mean, a lot's changed for us since 2010. We got here, we redid the surface in our indoor field house. We redid our locker room. We added a turf practice field. We got a Nike contract, so all our gear's Nike, uniforms.
I'm sold right there.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're just, again, you think about being an 18-year-old student athlete, what's important to you and what does it take to get it where we need to win? So, done a lot of improvements that way. And again, it's taken time, but feel really good about that. With our staff, we've got all the field equipment we need. We've got all the things in place for us to win and be successful. We have a really, really strong alumni network. And a big part of my job is talking to those guys. I want them to be involved in what we're doing. I want them to know that they've got access to me with my phone, my cell phone. So I'm pretty active about getting back to them and communicating with them. But they're supporting us financially. They're talking to kids, recruits for us. They're helping guys with internships and jobs. They're heavily involved in what we're doing. So our alumni network is really, really strong. And how our school allows us to work with our alumni network and our development office is really, really positive. That's a great situation. I'm also the only head coach of the NESCAC, the Ivy, the Patriot League, with a former head coach, the athletic director. So Mike Whalen's the AD, knows what it takes for football to be successful. Football takes a lot of time, takes a lot of effort. On everyone, on the trainers, on the equipment staff, on everybody, and really great support from our administration here and from the school. So those are awesome things. Our game field's in the center of campus, so you literally play a game in like the president's office on the 50. We only let Wesleyan people park on the field because we get too many fans, which is a good problem. So it's red and black everywhere you look. They treat you as adults. It's a good atmosphere for tailgating, and just an awesome game day environment, which is great. So we put a fence around our field. We still play on grass, even though our practice field's turf, but the fans are like 20 feet from you. So they are right on top of you. So really unique environment to play a game, and we draw really well. We've been number one in the league with attendance the last 15 years in a row. So awesome environment to play in. We play some of these other teams. They have like the track around the field or like a bigger stadium built up, and you don't even see the fans, and we travel well. Our parents tow like a 20-foot horse trailer. They feed like 1,000 people after every game. Coach Dicenzo likes to eat. I got a big sweet tooth too. So the parents really get it done there. And really just as a Division III head coach, I think you'd be the general manager of your program, and you want to check every facet is run at a high level and feel that you'd be ranked an A+ or A and all of those. So your student athlete experience is high. They're excited. The families are excited. And I feel we're doing a lot of those things really well. The other thing is I hadn't had a lot of staff change in like 8 years. And then my D coordinator, Matt Coyne, got the head coaching job at Bates. So we went 8-1 this last year. We only lost to Bates, even though they were 2-7. So him and I are good friends. We play golf a lot, and he's a great coach. They haven't had a traditional winning up there, and he's working really hard. And they're a team that's going to be, up and coming here these next few years because he's doing a great job. But I hadn't had a lot of turnover. So now, you're a younger head coach when you take over, and I'm not a big experienced guy. I'm not a big, hey, you're too young or too old. If you're good, you're good. But what I will say is now I was at the point where now I could handpick the assistants I wanted. Now I had been following guys' careers and be like, all right, this is my list of 10 guys on offense I have interest in. Here's 10 guys on defense. So when I had the positions open, I reached out to guys. And my D coordinator, Adam Sheekwin, goes by Coach Sheeks. He's really good. And the fact that he is in Division I is because people aren't doing their homework. We had our defense this year was first in the league in every category. I'm a defensive guy, and I've never really let a guy call it. And I said, hey, when I hired him, like, if you're good, like I think you are, I'm going to give you that freedom. And, we meet a lot. We talk defensive football a lot. But during games, he's called the last 3 years. And this year, we're first in total points, first in scoring defense, total defense, pass defense efficiency. We're first in 13 of the 15 categories in the league and top 25 in about 10 in the country. So he just does a really, really good job. Then my old coordinator, Eric Ludwig, he's been with me for 12 or 13 years. And again, just having a guy you can trust, I think, is a big deal. We hired Dave Benoit as our passing coordinator. He came from Western New England. They broke a ton of records up there. And the beauty of Coach Ludd is, like, if you have a good idea, he's not an ego guy. Like, if it can help us win, it can be productive, he's doing it. So got a really, really great staff, and was able to bring Coach Benoit, Coach QRD line coach, and Coach Sheeks on when I had the change, 3 years ago, and it's been a huge plus for us. So those guys doing a great job. But again, I just think it's different when you can, hand kind of pick your guys that you want to interview and really feel good about the guys that now in the profession. So it's worked out great. So I think that's a big piece of it. And then again, I just think the biggest part is finding guys that want to recruit and want to be invested in families and find out if these kids first want a great education, they don't want to go to class, don't come here. We're not the right fit. And guys that want to compete. If those two things are true, then we're going to be in good shape. And I don't care if a kid has any offers. I don't care who's talking to a kid. I can make my own decisions, and our staff can make our own decisions. And I want coaches that when they watch film, we can disagree, and that's okay. I want people with opinions. And in the end, I think we made some great decisions, taking some guys that have been some great players for us that haven't had a lot of offers that we just think are really good players. So we got a kid right now, Keith Capuano. He's a freshman tight end for us. He's from Hudson on the Hastings, small, sorry, Keith, bad football in New York. But he
probably knows it.
He's 6'5", 215 out of high school. He's doing 3 sports, so he can't really put on weights. He's playing basketball for 5 months, Kid's scoring 25 and 15. And, freshman year, he catches a touchdown for us against Trinity in our championship game, and now going forward, he's 6'5", 230 tight end that can run and catch and block. And, now if he was in high school, he'd have 10 Division I AA offers. So,
right.
Kind of seeing those kids are going to develop. You recruit an offensive lineman and he plays basketball or lacrosse, there's no chance that kid can put on weight. He's just running too much. He's too young. So once he gets here and he's running and lifting, he'll put on that weight. So really trying to find those guys. And again, been very, very fortunate. Great mentors my whole life. Great coach on our staff. And again, everyone's making me look smarter than I am. So it's a good situation to be in.
Now, question, Coach, are your assistants full-time guys?
Yeah. So I have 5 full-time coaches on the staff.
That's awesome.
3 part-time guys. Yep.
See, that's awesome. That's a huge difference. Like that makes a difference, right? Especially at your level where you're trying, you got maybe 3 full-timers. Everybody's wearing about 5 different hats, right? Like you have guys that can be there all the time with your guys. How does your strength program work in terms of you have your own strength guy? Yeah,
we have 3 or 4 strength coaches in our department. And then our kids are on our own program, obviously for football. And again, we monitor, but really, I got to be honest with you, our players, they're like, hey, we're lifting. You can go in the morning or night. Got to be one or the other. And it's player driven. It's really player driven of like, we were doing a spring practice and the guys would be like, hey, we got to run afterwards, coach, because one guy missed the lift last night or one guy was late. So it's not even me doing that, and when a team is player driven, it's a lot better team, and again, we talk about how we face adversity all the time. And if we lose, it's my fault first. And, it's everyone's going to take a piece of it, but is it adversity a loss? Is it a bad series? Is it a bad quarter? But really facing as a team and fighting back. And this year, our kids did an outstanding job in games of competing for the 60 minutes. We had to kick a field goal against Colby to go into overtime. Then they got a first down in the overtime. We popped the fumble off to pressure off the edge. Kid returned it 88 yards for a touchdown. Before they ran the play, I go, if they run boot, we're going to get a sack fumble right here. We did. We got it, and I didn't know we'd return it 88 yards, but,
always a bonus.
You make your own luck, when you got good players. So, again, really fortunate. Everything is in place here for us to be successful. And again, awesome to see these kids go on to do great things when they're done, and a lot of guys get great jobs, great job opportunities. A lot of our seniors have jobs prior to their senior year of college. So they get the offers coming out of the summer. And a lot of the guys are looking now just because they kind of want to keep their options open where they want to be and what they want to do changes. So, and I tell guys all the time, you graduate 3 or 4 years out and you want to change professions, reach out to me. We'll connect you with alums. This network is for life, So definitely a lot of positives with what we're doing here.
Yeah, I think that's really it's important to be able to get all those components together. When you put together your staffs, what are some of the things that you evaluate when bringing on your coaches? What are some of the characteristics, skill sets that you think are real important to the guys that you bring on?
Yeah, kind of like Coach said, like the Division III, you're wearing a lot of hats. I've hired some Division I guys. I've hired D3 guys, and I really like hiring a D3 guy that's come from less, where those guys, they appreciate what we have here. As the head coach, I'm cleaning up stuff. I'm going to BJ's or a Costco to get food for our guys at preseason stuff. Like, I just feel when you lead by example that way, other guys are not afraid then to do the little things. And I'm asking our staff to do that. So when you hire a guy and I'm like, hey guys, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. And it's to give the student athletes a great experience. And that's my big belief of that. So when I look for a coach, I look for the type of person he is first. And then I want to know if they can recruit and they can develop players. As far as like coaching, I think that's the easiest piece of it. I think a lot of guys can coach, but can they recruit? Can they get those relationships with kids that they want to play hard for them? Coach Jones, my D-line coach, we've been really good in the D-line. And Coach Q, like, he's loved by everybody on campus, by, everyone on our D-line, but he is an outstanding coach, but he's a better person, and he has got a lot of really good relationships with our guys and our team. But we've gotten a lot of really good recruits because he does a really good job. So again, I guess I shouldn't be saying all this stuff. I don't want to take any of my guys. I'm blessed. We got a great staff. So, and again, we've had guys who want to do great things, and we'll try to keep finding great men that can be great role models for our guys here. But really looking at the type of people they are, I think is really important, especially you're spending so much time together, and they're around your players
so much.
And you're the D-line coach, you're the linebacker coach. You've got 15 to 20 kids in a room that you're in charge of.
Right.
Our softball team or basketball team or whatever, they have 15, 18 kids in their whole team. So these assistant coaches or head coaches in a sense like that, where they're the immediate contact of these kids. They're in charge of 20 kids that, if there's something on I need to know about, I need to know that they're able to run that room and relate to those guys and do a great job there. And again, very, very fortunate right now.
I mean, these are guys too that you want, like, you have parents that are now going, hey, I'm sending, Johnny off to coach. You want those type of character guys where those parents can look at that guy and say, yeah, he's going to be coaching him in football. What else is he going to do for him? Right. Yep. Especially at a smaller university where I feel like, those relationships really kind of factor into the whole thing. I've always been a firm believer in people. You win with people, right? It's how you treat them. So a lot of people remember how you made them feel, not kind of all the other accolades and whatever goes with it. And like you said, when you're in that room, especially once you take that next step from high school to college, there's a lot of stuff going on, and especially that first year or whatever, the transition in, life is happening while all this is going on. If you don't have those solid relationships, not only is a guy not going to play for you, like, he just isn't going to do what he's supposed to be doing. And then before you know it, he's out of school, and now he's really got it, right? So, the football stuff, I think, always takes care of itself, when it comes to that. But you got to have somebody who's, in that room with those guys, like you said, on the front line, not too big or not, to do the little things that matter. And I think that's what ultimately, like, makes guys play for you, is when that you feel like that guy really cares about you on a whole different level, other than, hey man, you can score me touchdowns, or hey, you can make tackles. How's your brother or sister doing? Like, those types of things where what's going on in each of those kids' lives. And I think that's extremely important when it comes to relationships in terms of player coach.
Yeah. And I have a rule, like, I coach everyone fairly, but I coach everyone differently. There's certain kids, you can get after, and there's other kids that they need to be coached with love, and you need to have those relationships to know what kind of makes a kid tick and what they need. And listen, kids learn differently. I had this kid who was a 3-time All-League DB for me, this kid, Elias Camacho. he's probably making $1 million a year right now. He's a genius kid, and stay in touch with him. Great kid. He's a consultant now. But his freshman year, I met with that kid, all the time, and meeting with him after practice, meeting with him here, all this stuff, and he just wasn't getting it. And at the point, I'm like, is this kid? Is he fucking with me? Like,
right?
Does he get this stuff? And then finally, like, it clicked. And when it clicked, started asking smarter questions, started asking better questions, started moving better, started moving faster in the field. So he went from a guy the rest of the team thought was a terrible football player to a guy that's now running around like a first-team all-league guy. And again, he didn't understand it before. And then it made sense to him. And when it made sense to him, he could play fast. And so, again, never give up on guys. Love to see guys, whether it's sophomore, junior, senior year, it clicks for them, and they have a great, they come in ready to play and they're just playing at a high level. So, and I tell our coach all the time, don't give up on a guy. Like, if he's working hard and doing everything we're asking him to do, it'll click for him. We recruit him for a reason. Like, it'll click for him. And sometimes, I hope all our kids have a great experience in our program. I can't wave a magic wand for everyone, but we've had a lot of success here. We've won a lot of games, and a lot of guys have had a good experience with it. And, I just think a lot of guys have trusted the process and worked really hard and kind of embraced that grind of trying to get better every day. And when you have that mentality, you can be successful. And our guys have really done that.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. What you've done and built is really great over in Middletown, Connecticut. It's great place.
Listen, you got Coach. You got a UConn guy, and I started at Sacred Heart, and would have never left had it been for family things going on. Like, I'm just telling you, Connecticut's a great spot. We talked to a lot of New England guys.
There in Middletown, Connecticut. The high school there used to be pretty good. I don't know if it still is or not.
They are good. So our receiver coach, Daryl Highsmith, was a player for us at Connecticut State Player of the Year. Coached, worked with a guy, the Sideline Hustle, who coaches like 25 NFL receiver tight ends.
Yeah.
Bars. Andrew Lieberman. He coached at Depascale.
Yep. We know Andrew. Andrew was down here for a long time.
In Middletown, Connecticut?
He's a Wesleyan.
He went up there, yeah.
Listen, that fucking kid owes me. He started his company. I'm like, buddy, always bet on yourself.
Yeah.
He was coaching at Rutgers and all, but he came back, coach with us.
Big Muhammad's the new guy, right?
Oh, yeah. Those two are brothers. So he's doing great now. He's coaching. He's literally training 25 NFL guys. That's his job. And he goes around guys all the time. But, Evan Ingram, Jacoby Myers,
Oh, yeah. You can name drop it all day.
Yeah. So does a great job. But Daryl worked for him for a couple of years and then came back to Middletown. He's from here, coached our receivers last 2 years. He just took the Middletown High job.
That's
awesome.
He's
like, Coach, he's like, my dad played here. I played here. My family played here. I want to see his program do great. So we're rooting for him. Just a great young man, and hopefully does a great job. But they've had great players at Middletown High. We've had a few of them here, which has been awesome. Yeah. So, listen, I live 25 minutes south on the ocean in Madison. We're an hour and 45-minute train ride.
Nice, Coach. Nice.
Yeah, and we're an hour and 45 minutes into Fenway Park. So we're in a great location for all of it. And
phenomenal location.
Airport 25 minutes away. I got season tickets to the XL Center to watch UConn hoops this year because my 8-year-old's a huge UConn Huskies hoop guy. So, just a lot going on here. And then again, if you like to eat, you can't beat it here. So especially if it's Italian food, it's pizza, you can't beat it. So very, very lucky.
New Haven pizza.
Come on.
You can't beat that. And Madison, Connecticut's that's a beautiful. I was down there for a few years ago for somebody's engagement, and it's right on the water over there. It's really great area. Now it's great. It's a great state. There's a lot to offer. You guys have that battle, the Battle of Middletown versus West Hartford, right? Wesleyan versus Trinity, right?
Yep.
So that's pretty cool. It's been great having you on, Coach. Really, really appreciate you taking the time. Love what you're doing. Really, really insightful, and I think you have a phenomenal outlook with your program, and much continued success to you.
I appreciate it, fellas. Appreciate having me on, and thanks for everything you're doing for sports, New Jersey sports, football, all around, man. You guys are great.
Appreciate you, Coach. If we can help you in any way, let us know.
All right, guys. Have a great day.
Have a great day, Coach. Bye.
All right, thanks.
That was great. Man, I love his outlook, dude. I love his outlook.
I'd go play for him right now.
Yeah. He has
a realist, right? Like a real down-to-earth, like, hey, this is what we're living in, right? This is the time. This is how things are. Look, come here. Know at the end of the day, when you get your degree, you're going to be making $200,000 coming out the gates. But if you're a good football player and you want that, you can go to that. I'll help you and go. You know what I mean? Almost like a feeder for an FCS school or a Division I school. Like, why not take that approach? Like, hey, man, I'm going to go here. Like I said, I'm already a little
get their degree there because it's a great school. Once you go there,
right, you're set. It's like a Notre Dame or any of those kind of things where guys are
Wesleyan,
like, oh,
you gotta have. I think it's even Wesleyan. Like I believe they're all in that same conference. Wesleyan, Williams,
all
Amherst,
of those, like right, like your Trinities, right? Your Trinities, your Williams, right? Like
1500 SAT to get in there.
Right. And if you look at it, and we talk about this a lot, right? Like that kid that fits that level of football with those credentials or academic stuff, like that's a Northeast type kid, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The academics of schools matter here in the Northeast. Not saying it doesn't matter anywhere else, but let's just say, the public educational systems in some other states compared to what New Jersey, New York, Connecticut is, Massachusetts, like it's a little above what other states are, right? So to have that and have high level football, dude, like now you're working with the best of both worlds. Like, and, if you're coming from a small school, right, now you're going to get that small school type experience. Like you're probably going to know everybody's name on campus and all that kind of stuff. Right. Like, and not to mention just like the Northeast in general, geographically, like, you could be in Boston, you could be in New York, right? Like it's a hop, skip, and a jump to either, and you're all set. So really good setting, man. And he's been there for so long, right? He talked about it, player led. Guys running their own, weight sessions and whatnot at a Division III level. That's pivotal, right? 5 of 5 full-time assistants.
Oh yeah, well that's the one thing you get at the higher academic institutions versus the state school Division IIIs,
because they want guys staying in school.
Well, the coach. You were exactly. So the coaches you have more full-time coaches getting paid. And I think it really helps as far as keeping stability in the program because people are always around it.
You just have more.
There's more. They have a lot of they have a lot of financial.
They have a lot of things that
they must have a big endowment. Yeah, I'm assuming those Wesleyan, a lot of those schools have gigantic endowments. You just don't know who their guys are because it's not like a big school thing where you see people on TV.
And I don't think those guys are pounding their chests going, hey, I'm giving this much money to Wesleyan where I went and I owe it to them. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't need that notoriety. They just look at their bank account. They're like, thanks, buddy. Thank you very much. Here you go. And look, a Division III with a Nike contract, like say what you want. That matters, right? Like that matters to some kids when they're looking at it going, oh, they have a Nike school, right? Like they're a Nike. I love the fact I would have liked him to talk a little more about having a turf practice field and a grass game field. I think that's kind of cool. I didn't know that. You knew that. That's like opposite of everything people talk about. But like he said, the game day experience, if you look at the Google Maps of how their field's located, like 100%, that game field is in the middle of campus, right? So like you said, tight quarters. I'm sure they packed the house because, why not? What are you going to do on a Saturday, up in New England in the fall, which is, I'm sure, really, really cool, right? I mean, parents that travel, like they do all those kind of things because, like you said, the smaller knit stuff where it feels, I don't want to say it feels more like high school, but there's more of that connection because it's that way, which for a lot of guys, they just look at level of ball and I want to go here, man. It's more that networking and that one-on-one stuff, that attention where like you're gonna know everything about your coach, right? Like I'm sure every one of his players knows every one of his kids in terms of that type of relationship where sometimes you don't get that at those bigger schools.
No, what you said is 100% true. I mean, I'm looking while we're talking at Wesleyan's campus. Like it's
gorgeous.
It's obviously it's a smaller school, but it's these New England schools like.
Look, and I'm biased. I loved it. Like even Sacred Heart
there. Yeah.
Like even Sacred Heart, what it's become now, dude, like it is just, there is nothing like, there's nothing like the Northeast in the fall. Like the full, like the view, the foliage, the views, like all of it. It's just a different type of feeling. I mean, even it's not Jersey, right? Like it isn't. It's just not. It's just so much. It's just different, and it's still that traditional like college.
Yeah,
you know.
So, yeah, that's what people from New Jersey don't understand until you go up there. That's why you have to always go to places because
have to.
The only place that I would like, I mean, there might be a couple others that maybe I just haven't been there, but the places that remind me of some of these places in like Connecticut or Massachusetts or New Hampshire, is Princeton, like the town of Princeton. They're all
100%.
Yeah,
more like West Jersey.
Yeah, like how Princeton is set up, like a town. Yeah. It's a town, even though there's a university there.
But it's a college. Like it's when you watch a movie about a college.
Yeah, it's a movie. Like what it is. A movie. What is a college? Yeah.
Right? Like a college experience is, it snows out and you look out your dorm window and there's 1,000 kids throwing snowballs chilling in the middle of campus, right? Like that's it's not somebody getting in a car driving to class over here, right? Or hopping on a shuttle or some of those type things. Like that's just kind of like how it's situated. And, the high academic stuff is amazing. And it's also interesting to hear how, he touched on a little bit like how he recruits, right? Like, yeah, I look at the New Jersey wrestling brackets and say which one of these guys are football players, right? Like I go watch a basketball kid who plays 3 sports and I know that like, yeah, he could get this bigger because he's never had a full-time lifting program. He's always playing a sport. So just another kind of hammer down on, hey, multi-sport guys, that's important.
Yeah, you're right. It is a grass field. I'm looking at it. I'm like, is that right?
Yeah, no, it's cool.
So wait, they have a turf?
So a turf practice field that's not even near the game field. Like it's across campus.
Right. That's so interesting. Maybe they that's interesting.
Like you said, that home field advantage he has.
Oh yeah, you're right. It is grass. Holy cow. Very interesting. Well, all right. I really enjoyed that podcast. I really enjoyed him. He seems like a phenomenal guy.
And I'm sure he's had opportunities to go elsewhere.
Oh, I'm sure he has. And I'm getting a call for our I think the UConn women won the Big East tournament yesterday. So
I don't know. I haven't been.
I'll hit you up later. I gotta go talk that stuff. I'll see you soon, man.
Yeah, we'll be back Thursday with Tatum. We're gonna have a breakdown. We're gonna do some offensive line play breakdown on Thursday.
All right, that sounds great, dude. All right, we'll see you guys Thursday.